Hey, here we go. Wait, why is it unlisted? Public? Okay, it says we're live. I mean, we probably won't have any viewers for a while here. Um, what is OBS doing? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's jump right into things. Let's see how this is working. Turn off the debug in chat as the chat message tells you to do. Actually, you can leave the chat message on. All right, let's see what these little buggers are doing. So these little purple blobs are, they're actually the berry bushes, but I was too rushed. I haven't had time to make them out. These are lumberjacks. So they're running around looking for trees. And the trees, these specific trees have 250 wood. So this one's down to 248 because these guys are picking wood off of the trees, pretty much chopping them, you know. Yeah, 239, excellent, excellent. That one still has 250. This one has 250. Where's that guy even harvesting from? 250. Oh, he's harvesting from here now. I think he was harvesting. I don't know where he was harvesting from. This poor dude. I feel so bad for this woodcutter. He's traveling from this base, which, by the way, there's only supposed to be one base available. But yeah, it needs to say that that's not that's not quite how it works right now. You can have as many bases as you want, assuming you can just use the give command and give yourself bases. Yeah, but this poor guy is wandering from here all the way out to one of these two trees. I forget which. That one has 250, so... Wait, where is he even going? There's no trees out here that have... Oh, is it this one? Where is this dude going? Bro, where you going, man? There ain't no trees out here. He must have finished chopping up the tree he was after. I don't know. Where are you going? Okay, this is the tree he's coming to. 249. Okay. And then he makes his way all the way back to the base. So, yeah. Game's pretty much done. JK. Not even close. Let's take a look over at the code here. Woo! I would be using my camera, but I seem to have lost the cable to connect the camera to the computer for the video feed. So that's why you don't get my beautiful face. So, yeah, that's that. Is what it is, I guess. Okay, so the lumberjacks. Let's take a look at the lumberjacks, as that is what we are doing right now. So I think, well, I'm hoping, anyways, that I think that should be more or less visible what's going on here. So we should be okay. So the lumberjack, basically, yeah, it's just using the bush object again because I didn't make a new one. It's pretty basic stuff here. I can pull out some of these print statements I had a bunch in because I was having a lot of errors, but I think I've got them all fixed now. So, and what's nice about this is there's going to be... So I suppose I should get into some explanation of what the game actually is. That would probably be helpful. So the game title is Koboldkrieg. It's a German word. It means goblin warfare. So if you can't surmise from the name of the game, you're going to be fighting goblins. It's a tower defense / RTS hybrid. Let's go back to the game here. You can't really tell too much because nothing really works yet. But we have a beautiful HUD up top with our food, stone, lumber, and metal. I have to get a background on that yet, and there's a lot of graphical things that need to change still. We have the lovely grass here. You will notice but there's no view bobbing. I managed to get that turned off. We have a few different biomes. There'll probably be some more, but I just was worried about getting enough to make the game in a playable state. Minimap you can turn on, but there's no radar. I would like to reposition that, but I don't know. There are a few resources that just spawn in on the map as decorations. There are trees where you get wood. There are fruit bushes where you get food. And there is metal. And there is stone. You can punch things. I haven't made these textures yet. Right now I am collecting stone. Yay, it shows on the left-hand side of the screen there. And then if I can remember where my base was, that would be... Oh, over here. Okay, that'd be very helpful. Right now we are in the Dearth biome. That's where the goblins eventually will be populated in. They'll have some buildings and bases and stuff. And then, of course, the goblin units themselves will just spawn out of there. We're in a grassland right now. And then we have a sandy area here. That's pretty much it as far as biomes goes. Yeah, so then you can collect stuff yourself. A lot of this is all placeholder graphics. The models, a lot of them are placeholders as well. So right now I have 15 stone in my inventory. And when I click on my base here, it'll clear it out of inventory. And it'll add it to my resources. So now I have 34 stone because I just collected 15 and I had whatever I had before. Actually, I think I collected 14. I can make woodcutters, lumberjacks, just by clicking this button, which doesn't have an icon yet. And this little lumberjack unit will happily find the nearest wood and then find one of the 4 spaces around the tree to start collecting the wood. And sometimes they go into the tree, but that's fine. It'll collect the wood till it has 25 pieces. And this doesn't update real time, so you kind of have to just click on it to see the update if you want to see the update. Once he has his 25 wood, he'll come back to the base, drop it off, and then head back out to the same tree. Once the tree disappears, he'll look for another tree. If can't find any trees within the predefined range, it'll look for another building. So from this building, if there was no trees, currently it's looking for a 10 node distance. If it couldn't find a tree within 10 nodes, it'll look for a building within 10 nodes, which would find this one, I believe this one, and this one. So it'll just randomly pick one, go to it. Once it gets to that building, it'll look for trees. In this case, it should find these 2. And then it'll go to one of these trees and harvest the wood. Now the lumberjacks, because you're only really meant to have one base, they always have to go back to the base they came out of because you'll only have one base in the final game. Unfortunately, I can't remove these because I took away the remove base button, and you can't break things because that's not what the type of game this is. So yeah, I'm just stuck with all these bases. But they'll follow a trail of buildings to find the next available piece of wood. And then from that wood, they'll go back to whatever base they were created from. You'll only have one base in the final game. And then, after they dump their wood off, instead of going back through that whole trail of finding buildings and stuff, they'll just go back to the previous tree that they were chopping. If that tree doesn't exist anymore, once they get there, they'll look for a new tree. If they can't find any trees, they'll look for buildings. If they can't find any buildings, currently they kind of just do nothing. They'll kind of just slowly creep off in the distance in some direction until they find a building. And then, or a tree. And then they'll go after that. Hello, Cubo Libre. Hi from Uruguay. Sweet. Don't think I've ever had anybody from Uruguay in the chats. It's just going to be a short stream. I wanted to do a longer one, but I kind of forgot to do it earlier. So, yeah, that's just what we're doing now. So, yeah, pathfinding, so much fun. It's just so great. I can't express in enough words how much fun pathfinding is. Actually, it's not that horrible. It's just getting to this point of figuring out how to do it that was horrible. So, few little pointers here. Unfortunately, this map is very flat. There's some hills that you can't really do anything with because you can't jump. There is no jumping. You just move around on a flat surface and step over things here and there, which I may get rid of. I don't know. But yeah, so what the pathfinding's doing here actually, and it's kind of crazy, it goes one node above the building and one node above the tree, and then finds a path between them. Which I imagine at some point is going to have issues, because like these bushes here are on the ground and they will bump into the bushes. So when that inevitably becomes a problem, I will have to put an invisible node above these bushes, I think, so that the pathfinding works around them. I haven't seen any big problems yet, so maybe I'll be okay. But yeah, if you have pathfinding to the actual node that this tree resides in and the building here, it just won't find a path because you're inside of the node. And even though that's the start and the end nodes, it doesn't work. I don't know. I can show off a couple of the other things we have. So I have I think it's logging _1. Oh, give me Kobo, which is just short for Koboldkrieg. Logging _1. It says it was added to inventory. Oh, so that must be the one that I already have. Okay. And then we have number 2. So I'm working on, the graphics and everything. This is our V1 logging camp. So there's a couple tents and some piles of wood. Currently, these don't do anything. You can remove these buildings though, which is great because they don't do anything. But they will at some point. You'll just put it next to a tree, and it'll just pretty much pull the resources from the trees. And then once the trees are depleted, it'll just delete the tree. But the logging camps, and there'll be other resource collection nodes as well. They won't take the resources that they collected and actually put them into your resource pool, what's reflected up here. So you'll need transportation units to go between those bases and your actual base to haul the goods back and forth. But those will hold a lot more than the individual characters. Like he can carry 25 wood. If I have time, I want to do like a research thing where you can upgrade and let them carry more quantities and maybe move faster. But my luck with pathfinding and moving speed has not really been very good. No matter what I try to do, they don't really seem to go any faster. But yeah, a lot of my buildings are going to be greater than one node. As you can see, this is one node, and these buildings are multiple nodes, which is fine. We're like 14 nodes in the air right now. It's just a fun way to do an overview. But again, if I have time, I do want to make an option so you can go down to like first person view and run around on the ground. I'll have to adjust the walk speed and stuff so you can like get down and dirty and see what's going on, and then you could still do resource collection by hand. So like right now we just collect 25 food. We'll run back to a base here and we dump our food off. I may change it so when again, this is all dependent on time. I may change it so when you're in this mode, the big overview, that you can't collect any resources by hand, because this is kind of cheating, I can just stand up here, except that just broke for some weird reason, and I don't know why. I've had that happen in the past. I don't understand what happens here. And now I can't click on anything. I can't interact with things. That'll send a chat message though. Like I don't know what I just did. Usually though, if you fly, yeah, then it'll come back. So I don't know. But it's kind of cheaty to be up in the air. What is going on here? Oh, I just threw something. Let me pick that back up. I don't know what's happening here. I swear it doesn't normally do this. Anyways, I might change that so you can't do it at all. And you'll just be able to build bases and put things down. So on the inventory screen here, there'll be like 3 or 4 tabs. And there'll be an option for your buildings you can build. And then research and like a help tab with how to play the game. And then the individual bases. Currently there's a button supposed to have a tooltip. I don't know where the tooltip is. why it's not working. I can show you the tooltip over here, though. Yeah, the tooltip. Because I changed it from logger to lumberjack. That's why. Lumberjack. Ooh, I don't want caps lock on. Lumberjack _1. Create a tier 1 lumberjack. 25 lumber, 25 food. At the moment, it actually doesn't take any resources to do them. So I can just do this. And just click a whole bunch. And look at all these. Look at the army of lumberjacks. They're all going out to just destroy this tree. There are some issues. They're supposed to just randomly pick a location around the tree, and for some reason they always pick the closest spot. So like these ones over here aren't actually doing anything because they're not close enough to the tree. You have to be within one node of the tree. So this node, this node on the back, or I can't even point at that node because there's too many lumberjacks here, but the node on the ground right about here. So these guys in the front can harvest, and the rest of them just get stuck, and I don't know why. The code says they're supposed to be going to the surrounding, as we can look at over here. So we have, oh wait, no, that's the tree. I want the lumberjack. The lumberjack. Wait, it's not. I have an automatic scene switcher and it's not working? You dumb OBS. Automatic stream switcher. Mine test is supposed to pull up mine test. Why is it not doing that? Okay, I've had issues with this thing in the past. I guess we just go back to doing the manual, which is boring. Okay, well, it looks like the lumberjacks destroyed that tree. So that's actually good because that'll spread them out a little bit. So I got a whole bunch over here that we're just dropping off wood. This poor guy is still going back to this tree over here. Poor dude. These guys were trying to harvest a tree that was here but doesn't exist there anymore. And these guys are harvesting a tree here. Yeah, it's changed to Luanti. I don't know why this automatic switcher didn't work. But like I said, I've had issues with that in the past. The name change, yes. So that was many years in the making, I guess. And that was the name they picked. I can't really tell you a whole lot more than that because I don't know a whole lot more than that. Why does this break all the time? It's like it's changing my reach distance. You know what? That might be it. I wonder. So if I punch this... Nope, because now it still works. Because I did give you a pretty good reach distance in the overview here. Maybe I need to change that. I don't know. That could be part of the issue. These lumberjacks all seem to just be dead in the water. I don't know what's going on. There's no trees, I guess. So we can fix that. You will be able to research, what would we even call this? Tree planting? No, I had the automatic scene switcher thing changed to the new title and everything, and it had been working previously. I don't know what happened. It's not the best of scene switchers, I guess. Give me Kobo, and I think just called tree. Yep. So if I put a tree over, say, here, and one here, and one here, we'll just kind of put trees in a circle. Wow, look at the lumberjacks go. They're all finding trees to go to. For whatever reason, they're all picking the same tree, which I guess is whatever. And, oh, there we go. Now they're going to all different trees. It would be a little better representative if they weren't 4 dots and they were just one blob in the middle. But again, I'm just reusing an existing model from the bushes. So that's why they look a little funky. But yeah, they're trying. They're supposed to be all around the tree instead of just one side, which we will get to now. So if we look at the code on step, it's just a whole bunch of basically finding nodes, really. So we have blah, 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 blah. Then I'm on step. Every second the code runs. If they're idle, so there's 4 different states they can be in. They can be traveling, which is obviously when they're moving back and forth. Idles when they're just not doing anything. Surprise, surprise. There's the working step, which is when they're chopping trees. Oh wait, did I say there was 4? There's 3. Because traveling can be either direction. That can be going to the resources or going back to the base. But so here we go. They're idle. We're looking for a tree. So we're looking for, well, if they didn't have a previous job, so this would be a fresh worker who hasn't done anything yet. We're getting his own position, and then we're looking for a tree of any sort that's just group lumber within 10. Currently, there's only 1 tree. If I have time, I might make some variation of trees so that, spices things up a little bit. And each type of tree can have a different starting quantity of wood. So it finds a tree, and then it path finds to the tree from where it's at. There's a lot of debug code in here yet. If it finds a path, it sets the state to traveling. And then we jump down to the traveling state, which is pretty much just stepping through the path, changing the velocity to go to the next steps. And then once it gets to the end of the path, which is just done by the number of paths, or number of steps to the path, I guess. And then once there's no steps left, it does this, and it looks either for next to it, a node that's tree, or, oh wait, this is why it doesn't work right. That is why it doesn't work right. Because it's, okay, well, so I need to tweak this. I discovered the issue talking through the problem, so that makes sense. So it's just looking for the group tree here. No, it's not, because it's looking for a chopping spot. And chopping spot is any of the 4 nodes around the tree. I wonder if it always starts from the same position. If it's always starting at the same, I bet it does. I might have to write my own implementation to find node near. Which I had written, and then I remembered there was a find node near function, so I'm just using that, but I bet that's why this doesn't work right. I bet find node near is biased. And it always starts at the negative Z position. I bet. All right, well, we might have to change this back to old implementation. Change to old implementation? That might be right. That might be wrong. Implementation? That might be an I. No, it's definitely an E. Implementation, I think. Okay, well, that's probably why this isn't working the way it's supposed to, because they're supposed to surround it. And that way they wouldn't all get in each other's way quite so easily. So, okay, well, that's something that I can fix at a later date, because it does kind of work right now. Anyway, so yeah, they just do all this, and they collect wood. What's nice is once this is in a good position, I can literally just copy all of this data and do the foragers, which will gather food from the bushes, and then the miners that'll collect stone, and the miners that'll collect metal. I might make them both the same unit, because so we've got stone here. There's 2 different varieties of stone. You'll find a little bit of stone in the grasslands. It's pretty sparse, and it's 250 stone, which is a decent amount because the tree's 250. But then you get into the sand. Well, let's go to the other stone before we look at the metal, because there's metal as well. There's these bigger mines. Voting, November 5th. Yes, if you didn't vote and you still have the chance to vote, you should definitely get out and vote. Of course, that only applies to people watching from in the states that have elections. I don't know where other countries do their elections. Definitely get out and vote if you haven't yet, and if the polls haven't closed, which, again, depending on your time zone, they may have. In which case, shame on you for not fulfilling your civic duty. Here we have the big stone mine, which you will only find in the sand and in the the dearth, as I'm calling it, the red nodes where the goblins will be. And the big mine is 1,000 stone. So it's a lot of stone. And then metal, it does use a different model. I made different models for the mines. You have small metal that you'll find in sand, which is 250. And then, surprise, surprise, the big metal mines in the dearth have 1,000 metal. It's almost like I just copied and pasted code and changed a couple things. Yeah, so I'm thinking the miners will collect from any of these, because I think I can make that happen easily enough. Although with the current code for the lumberjacks, I'll definitely have to make some changes, because the lumberjack pretty much, let me find it in the code here. Okay, so it has its own inventory, and it just, as it's chopping the trees every second, it just adds 1 to inventory. So it literally is just holding a number. It doesn't know what its inventory is. And then when it goes back to the storage base, it just clears out its own inventory and adds that inventory to the player's resource count, sets its inventory to 0. So for the miners, I would have to record what resource they're harvesting, so that way they can drop it off at the base and you get the right resource, which also makes things a teeny bit more complicated on my end, because I can't just look for a group of mine, because it has to be the right type of mine. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll make it work one way or another. Yeah, let's see. That's pretty much it that I have for right now. I definitely need to make some tweaks to the decorations yet, because, you know, some of this is just a little crazy, but it's so hard to do. It's so much logging in, logging out, logging in, logging out, deleting world, creating a new world. So many steps, but we'll get there eventually. There'll be farms, so that way you can, have food. Although the berry bushes do regrow the berries. So the berry bush only has 100 food, so I can actually demonstrate this quickly enough. Let me jump back over to Luanti so you can see what I'm doing. Berry bush has 82 food now because I already started collecting it. So I've got 25 in my inventory. Drop it off here. Pick up another 25. I really need to make it so you can't just click super fast on this, because this makes it too easy. The reason I have 1374 food is because I had a mistake before, and I just kept getting food accidentally. Hey, there we go. So these bushes have no berries on them. They will grow back in 10 minutes. Hey, there we go. Berries grow back in 10 minutes, which that does count down, but only in minute increments. So it'll, at 9 minutes, you would have to look at the form spec again, because it won't update automatically. Again, I need to get all the graphics and stuff here. But yeah, that's that. So as you can see, we still have lumber just rolling right on in. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We'll need that to do things with. So let's get on to doing some things, because I ain't got time for just yapping and not working. I think I want to, what did I want to do here? I could show, there's one more tidbit in the game here that I could show off real quick. So let me just set the time to something dark, and let me grab any one of the bases. You'll notice there's no wheeled images. That's a HUD flag you can turn off, so you just don't see them, which is neato. You don't see any inventory here, which is unfortunate. It's really hard to see down in the hotbar here. That's going to change. But there's a little blue part in the icon that shows you where you're placing. So the blue part will actually be where the node's at. But yeah, you can't see any of that. And currently it doesn't check surrounding nodes, so you can do things like this, but those will be implemented, so it will check that. As you'll see here, though, it places lights above it. So there is, well, you can't really see it if I open up the menu. If I open chat, I think that'll work. Yeah. So there's a light node, 2 nodes above it, Or is it 1 node above it? I think it's 1 node above it. And then it also places, I think, like 5 nodes out on the corners. So you get a slightly more... Yeah, you can see from up top here where your lights are at very easily. You have one in the center, and then you have off to the sides here, because otherwise you got ugly shapes. As you can tell, there's a lot of bases that were removed before the code was all quite in place, so the lights didn't get removed. But yeah, you got very star-shaped, diamond-shaped lighting patterns, and I didn't really care for those. So this is much better. I didn't want to, and I've done this in the past, but this isn't a great way to do things, to just kick the time speed to, 0 and then set a time that it was always at whatever specific lightness, because that messes up every other world, because it's a global thing, not a world thing, which is bogus, by the way. But yeah, so I just made it so it adds lights. And I think that is great. It gives a nice little bit of ambiance. And I could potentially use the ambient light level here for spawning goblins in or something. So it gives me an added little bonus that I can do things at nighttime instead of during the day. So hey, can you rename my Discord? Can I? That's a good question. I don't know if I can. I probably can't, to be quite honest. Edit server profile. Yeah, I don't even know where I would... Oh no, that's something different. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if that's a possibility. I feel like once you name a server... Oh, yeah, never mind. Bada boom, bada bing, it is done. I think. Yep, it's renamed. Rejoice or cry. I don't know what you want to do, but you can do either. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to implement costs. So currently the lumberjacks says it costs 25 lumber, 25 food. That's subject to change. But, we should probably make sure that actually works. So, if you're clicking Lumberjack 1, then we're going to need to do some checks. So we're going to have to pull in the resources, which we can easily enough do because I just happen to have that sitting up here. I do need to know the player name to get the resources. So we will actually go ahead and put that underneath where we're pulling in the player name. And we will get resources, and then we will just change this from player name to name. And then I think I just need to do... Would it be possible to make a physics mod similar to VS2? I don't know what VS2 is. I'm assuming that's some kind of a Minecraft thing. Don't play. Have never played. Well, that's kind of a lie. Many years ago, I played Minecraft when, what's-his-face owned it before Microsoft bought it. And it was long before Microsoft bought it, too. But back in the day when, what's-his-face, Notch, when he owned it, and he said he was fine with people pirating the game because you couldn't play on servers with a pirated game. I was like, oh, okay, well, in that case, I can get it for free. But after I discovered Mindtest, now Luanti, yeah, I haven't really played ever since. So I don't know what any of these mods are, from assuming that's what it is. Okay, so we have resources here. So now we need to do if resources dot lumber is greater than or equal 25 and resources dot food is greater than or equal 25, then so that's just checking to make sure that we have enough resources. And we don't need to do any of these other things if we don't have the resources, so we'll put them all after that because no points in getting locals of things that we're not even going to use. So then we do this, so that all looks good. And then we also need to take away the resources. So then we're going to do... that's what? No, I copied this. How did I get that huge line that I pasted? resources lumber equals resources lumber minus 25. And then resources food equals resources food minus 25. And then just end to close out of that statement. That all looks good. So we will now hop back on over. I'll have to exit to the menu and reload things. It's a Minecraft mod, but you can make physics ships with blocks that you can break. Basically, I tried to make a mod like that for my Luanti. Oh, is that the, man, there was like somebody had like, it was like a moving ships or something mod. Was that you? I don't know. It sounds like it's way beyond my skill level, quite honestly. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a hack and I make it look like I do. Hey, there we go. Create a tier 1 lumberjack. 25 lumber, 25 food. So we have 1424 food. So that should drop us to 1399. And then lumber should drop us down to 53. So let's see. Okay, but wait. But wait. Because yeah, okay, so I also need to push an update to the HUD. So we just need to call Kobo HUD refresh. And then clicker, which in this case will be player, I believe. I can never remember if it's the player object or the player name. It should be the player object because clicker would be the object here. Okay, let's exit back to menu, come back in, and I got so many lumberjacks floating around out here. I'm just going to start punching some of these guys because there's just too many of them. Yes, currently you can punch them and kill them. It's quite easy to accidentally kill your poor lumberjacks. So that will change, and it'll be a right click. That'll pull up a menu, and then you can delete them, remove them, terminate them, whatever. Whatever word we'll use for it. I don't know why I'm saying wheel. It's me. It's just me. Okay, here we go. Let's try this out again. So food, 1149. Lumber, 8053. Yes! It worked! Woo! Sweet, sweet, sweet. Now I could go ahead and do a whole bunch of these just to use up all my food. But honestly, that sounds like too much work. So what I'm going to do instead is just change the quantity in the code real quick. It's not worth flipping back over. I just changed it up to 100. So it's still going to say here it takes 25, but you'll see that we're actually using up 100 food. And we're down to 24 food, and I can't craft anymore. Probably should go ahead and add a chat message so people know why things aren't working. So yeah, here you see I just changed it to use 100 food instead of 25. So then we have if resources, so then we'll just come down here and we'll do an else. Ooh, old habits die hard. Typing in mine test instead of core. Core dot, what is it? We want chat send player, and that's going to be the player name, which will be name, and then the message will be, I don't know, you need more resources. And then we'll go back in, and if everything works correctly here, go ahead and try to craft up some more. And hey, we're getting a chat message that says you need more resources. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's not making any more lumberjacks. And I can prove that by just killing that poor lumberjack. There you go, no more lumberjacks, because we used up all of our food. Now, unfortunately, the lumberjacks don't collect food, which is kind of a huge shame because there's a lot of food around here. There does seem to be an issue with the berry bushes because it still says it's taking 10 more minutes to grow back, and it shouldn't be taking 10 more minutes still. So I don't know what's going on there. Let's take a quick look at the code. It's possible I'm doing something wrong here. So we have the bush overview. This is a form spec. It's a function. It calls position and it calls food. I'll be honest, I don't know what... Oh, food. Oh, because it's the same form spec whether it has berries or not. So this one says Harvest to collect food. It has 100 remaining. Wait a second. Where did the one that didn't have food go? Did it just repopulate with food? Because if it did, we got problems because the form spec was not changing. I'm just going to collect this food really quick. Won't go up 100. So from 24, we should go to 124, assuming that all the math is being done right. Wait, where did this? I'm so confused. The bushes are supposed to have 100 food. And I can only carry 25 at a time. So there's 75 remaining. Okay. I am a little confused here. But oakley. So we have this one and it says there's 10 more minutes. So let's check the code out because that doesn't seem right. Oh, I was looking at all the wrong stuff here. I'm sorry. See, this is why I need to get the automatic scene switcher to work. Have I talked to Ollie lately? I have not. No. Last I talked to him, honestly, probably a couple years back when I was hosting Frost Factions for him. Okay, so food is just whether or not it's doing the berries collecting or the berries not. Remaining is getting from this for if it has food, and this is if it doesn't. Math absolute timer. Position is passed correctly. Get timeout divided by 60, which should be minutes then. So what we're gonna do is just put in a little print statement here to print out whatever that value is. But that's already gonna be the math absolute, which maybe the absolute's what's screwing me up here. So we could just eliminate that and do a fractional. The thought was that using an absolute would just give full minutes because the timer doesn't update the node anyways. I'm not sure. Let's launch the game back up with a restart here and see what this says. It says the bushes grow back in 10 minutes. Still says 10 minutes. All right, well, let's take all of the berries from this bush. Oh, yeah, by the way, the bushes don't grow berries back unless they're all picked. They don't slowly repopulate with berries, which maybe they should. I don't know. Okay, so that should be out of berries now. Still says they grow back in 10 minutes. Which would make sense, except that it shouldn't still be 10 minutes. I'm running this in a terminal. I am getting numbers to print out. 10, 24, 25. Or maybe it's 24, 25, 10. I will be quite honest, I don't know what is printing out here. I only have one print call, which is printing remaining. And the printout in the terminal only appears to be happening when I click on these. Oh no, those numbers are one of the lumberjacks collecting stuff. So it's just pulling up at 10 minutes with remaining. So I wonder if the get timeout is not actually what we want it to be. That's a possibility. Potentially get timeout is not the correct option to be calling. Let me pull up the old API here. Okay, and we're just gonna search for get timeout. Returns current timeout in seconds. If timeout equals 0, timer is inactive. Could have lapsed. Wait a second. So maybe I need to do timer get timeout minus timer get elapsed. And then divide that by the 60. Whoops. Could that be what we want? I'm not sure. I've never dealt with these before. No timers I have, obviously. But not in a way that I'm looking at remainders of time to them and countdowns. So we'll just pull this back up, see what happens. Hey! What do you know? Evidently that's exactly what I needed to do. Okay, well, good to know. Ollie is, well, I don't actually know who. I hosted a server for him for a while. He was actually the one that created the Discord server for me. Okay, well, I'm confused. I put the math absolute on. Clearly that did not do what I thought it did. I have a feeling that just does negatives to positive, which actually makes sense now that I think about it. So I probably want to do a math ceiling, because that would put it to the next greatest full number. So 9 minutes, 6 minutes. There we go. What do you know? It wasn't so hard after all. You just have to use your brain a little bit. If only I had one. All right, well, sweet. That's fixed. So that's excellent. Most good. Hey, my little lumberjack friend, are you... See, I want to make it so I can right-click on them and see what their state is, which would be kind of pointless because obviously he's traveling. And these ones are idle. They're just sitting around doing nothing. I don't know why. They should be going, oh, hey, let me find a building. There's a building right here. Let me go to the building. I don't know. So it'd be nice if, yeah, you could right-click on them and see what their state is. What current inventory is. They don't really have a health, and I don't think I'm going to give them a health because that just seems like way too much work, to be quite honest. Yeah. So because they're just kind of stuck around here, I'm just gonna nuke them. This guy keeps coming to this tree way over here. Only 19 wood left, bro. And then he's gonna come back to here looking for a tree, and there won't be one. And he's gonna pick this tree. And then he's gonna be going all the way back to the base over here. I think that's the base he came from. See, what I really need is some berry collectors, because I got tons of lumber right now, 8,000 to be exact, and 78. I probably do need to do something similar with these resources. So when you hit a certain point, it goes to, say when you hit 1,000, it just goes to like 1.1k and then 1.2k. I could spoil things. It's not really spoiling. So kind of the inspiration for the game here comes from a mix of like Ages of Empires, Zero AD, the classic RTS games, and then lately would be the more correct way of saying this. I've been playing a lot of Mindustry, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's a tower defense game. It's similar to, and I only say this colloquially, I think is the right word, because I've never played these other games, but it's similar to like, Factoria something? Not Satisfactory, that's the 3D one. Factorio or something. And there's several other games of the same genre. You collect resources, you ship them off to factories, and you build stuff with them to make other things and all this stuff. And initially, I wanted to do like where you had to make pathways on the ground, and then your workers would follow the pathways. Yeah, pathfinding does not care about the node you're on. And I was not about to write my own pathfinding algorithm in 3 weeks when I have never even looked at pathfinding for the most part, as far as how to write it. In the past, I was like, yeah, that's not happening. So, yeah, here we are. There's no roads. I could still create roads that you could place, I suppose. There's also the whole scale factor. Like, I want to put walls in so you can stop the goblins. But, I mean, this is a node. So, I don't know how to do that. I mean, obviously, I know how to make a wall. That's pretty easy. You just do it all in Blender. Also, my whole scale system is kind of whack right now. So I'll probably have to just do, takes up the whole thing, but it's only a little bit on the edge. I mean, it's pretty similar to how things are already anyways. And then just do automatic corners, which I have a little bit of experience with in the past from some of my work on Epic. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at now. And I think that's probably going to wrap things up here. It's getting close to bedtime. So, I should go to bed. Also, I need to order a new cable for my camera because I lost the old one, or I don't know, the animals ate it or something, or a kid swallowed it. No, I promise a kid did not swallow the USB cable from the camera. That would never happen. It was like a 2-foot long cord. Okay, there's no way a kid's gonna swallow. Maybe I shouldn't say there's no way a kid's gonna, because kids will figure out anything, to be honest. But I don't think a kid came in here and ate my USB cable for this camera. We've been using the camera for a lot of other stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's sitting in the office or something, someplace else where the camera's normally used. Like all the stuff in my studio has been pulled out. All the studio lighting's out of here. That's all been moved elsewhere for, like, I don't know if I want to say professional photography, but for photography, not live streaming stuff. So I just have the ceiling light, and I got the one light in front of me. So the lighting wouldn't have been great anyways. I do still have the green screen up, but only because we've never taken it down, because it's not really in the way. And it's kind of a good place to store it so it doesn't get all wrinkly and dirty and stuff. Anyway, let me just throw this in chat real quick, just in case anybody is interested, because the game is semi-playable. That's where you'll find the game if you're interested. The latest changes I have not pushed yet, so I do need to go ahead and get those pushed on over. But in order to do that, I have to just log into stuff and do that. Someplace I have a change log. There we go. I just need to put in today's changes, because it would be a real shame to not have the changes listed in the change log, because I mean, what's the point of a change log if you're not going to list your changes? So what did we do today? Added lumberjack and supporting functions. And that's honestly about it. But I'm quite happy with that, because with the lumberjacks figured out, like I was saying earlier, that's the miners figured out, the foraging figured out, and that really is the most difficult part. That's even part of the transportation units figured out, because they're going to be doing a lot of the same going back and forth between two locations. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks for hopping on, all 6 people that were watching concurrently. You to man, or you to woman, I guess. You're probably all men, because that's just what analytics say watches my channel. And I'm hoping to do some more streaming. I would have done it earlier today, but issues. So I'm going to order up a new camera cable, and that'll be here in a few days, I'm sure. And yeah, see you guys all later.